Let's get real. Why do men pull away? One minute he's all in, texting nonstop, making plans, and then silence. You start overthinking, blaming yourself, and wondering what went wrong. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. It's not always about you. Men withdraw for reasons you might not expect, and the way you handle it can either push him further away or pull him back in. Today, I'm going to break down why this happens, what most women get wrong, and the secret to keeping his attention without losing yourself in the process. Let's get into it. Men don't just pull away for no reason. When a man starts withdrawing, it's often not about losing interest or wanting someone else. It's about feeling overwhelmed, pressured, or emotionally overloaded. The problem is that most women take this withdrawal personally. They assume he's pulling away because he doesn't care, when in reality, he may just be dealing with internal stress that has nothing to do with the relationship. Men and women process emotions differently. When a woman is stressed or upset, she often talks it out. She wants to express how she feels, seek comfort, and connect emotionally. For many women, talking through emotions is the way to process and find relief. But men, they're wired differently. Many men handle stress by withdrawing, shutting down, or focusing on something else to regain a sense of control. When a man feels emotionally overwhelmed, whether it's from work, personal struggles, or even the relationship itself, his first instinct is often to retreat into his own space. It's not because he doesn't care, it's because that's how he copes. The biggest mistake women make in this situation is trying to fix it by chasing after him, demanding answers, or overwhelming him with emotions when he's already mentally checked out. If he's pulling away and you start texting nonstop, asking what's wrong, or trying to force a conversation he's not ready for, it only makes him retreat further. The pressure to talk when he's not in the right headspace makes him feel trapped. And when a man feels trapped, his instinct is to escape. This is why so many relationships suffer when women unknowingly push harder at the exact moment they need to pull back. Here's what most women don't realize. When a man pulls away, the best thing you can do is nothing. Give him space, stop overanalyzing, let him process whatever is going on in his mind. The moment you stop chasing, he gets the freedom to come back on his own terms. And when he does, he comes back stronger, more engaged, and more willing to communicate. This doesn't mean ignoring him or playing games. It means respecting his need for space without letting it shake your confidence. A confident woman knows that her worth isn't tied to a man's temporary withdrawal. She doesn't panic when he needs space. She continues living her life, focusing on herself and maintaining her own sense of independence. And guess what? That's exactly what makes her more attractive. When a man sees that you're secure enough to let him breathe, it actually makes him want to be around you more. He realizes that you're not dependent on his constant attention for validation, and that makes you stand out from every other woman who clings, panics, and pressures him when he pulls away. The secret is to stop making his withdrawal mean something about you. If you assume it means he doesn't care, you'll react in a way that drives him further away. But if you understand that it's just how he processes stress, you'll handle it with grace and confidence. Instead of seeing it as a rejection, see it as an opportunity to focus on yourself. Take that time to do things that make you happy, invest in your passions, and maintain your own emotional balance. When he sees that you're secure in yourself, he'll naturally be drawn back to you. Men don't need fixing. They don't need rescuing. And they definitely don't need to be forced into emotional conversations when they're not ready. They need space to sort things out in their own way. The women who understand this are the ones who keep their man's attention effortlessly. Because instead of forcing connection, they create an environment where he feels safe to come back on his own. Clinginess and insecurity are two of the biggest killers of attraction, yet most women don't even realize when they're doing it. It doesn't start with obvious desperation. It starts subtly. The need for constant reassurance, the anxiety when he takes longer than usual to reply, the overanalyzing of his words and actions. Before you know it, you're caught in a cycle of seeking validation instead of showing confidence, and that energy pushes him away faster than anything else. The truth is, confidence is magnetic. When a woman is secure in herself, she doesn't need to be reassured every 5 minutes. She knows her worth. She doesn't panic when a man gets busy, and she certainly doesn't let her mood depend on how much attention he's giving her. That kind of energy is what keeps a man interested because he sees her as someone who adds value to his life rather than someone who drains it. But when insecurity takes over, it flips the dynamic. The moment you start acting like you need him to prove his feelings constantly, you shift from being a source of joy to a source of pressure. A man wants to feel drawn to you, not obligated to you. There's a huge difference. Attraction should feel effortless, but when a woman constantly needs reassurance, it turns into a job for him. He starts to feel like he has to manage your emotions, be careful with his words, and constantly check in to keep you from spiraling. That's exhausting. And when something feels exhausting, a man naturally starts pulling away. He doesn't do it to be cruel. He does it because the pressure makes him feel suffocated, and no one wants to stay in a situation where they feel like they can't just be themselves. The hard truth is that no man can fix your insecurities. If you rely on a man to make you feel good about yourself, you will always feel unstable in relationships. The moment he pulls back even slightly, your self-doubt will creep in and you'll start trying to hold on tighter. But holding on tighter is the exact thing that makes him want to leave. It's human nature. When someone clings, the other person instinctively wants to create distance. The more you need him to validate you, the more likely he is to feel overwhelmed and start pulling away. The key is to shift your focus from needing validation to embodying confidence. Instead of worrying about whether he likes you, ask yourself, do you even like him? Instead of waiting for him to text, focus on your own life. So much that you don't even notice the time. Instead of overanalyzing his every move, trust that if he truly values you, he will show up in the right way. And if he doesn't, that's not a reflection of your worth. It's just a sign that he's not the right man for you. Men are drawn to women who have a full life outside of the relationship. A woman who has passions, goals, and her own sense of self isn't looking for a man to complete her. She's looking for a man to complement the amazing life she's already built. That's the energy that keeps a man hooked. Not the fear of losing him, not the constant need for reassurance, but the deep, unshakable confidence that says, I know I'm enough whether you're here or not. When you operate from that mindset, you'll never have to chase a man again. He'll chase you. Because a confident woman is the kind of woman a man never wants to lose. The chase never really ends. And that's where so many women get it wrong. In the beginning, everything feels exciting. There's mystery, anticipation, and a sense of pursuit. But once a woman feels secure in the relationship, it's easy to fall into a routine where she stops doing the very things that made him attracted to her in the first place. The effort that was once there in how she carried herself, the way she engaged with life, and the energy she brought to the relationship starts to fade. Slowly, she becomes predictable, and that predictability kills attraction. Men are wired for challenge and excitement. It's not about playing games or being difficult. It's about keeping a dynamic energy in the relationship that makes him continually invest in you. When a man feels like everything is set in stone, when he knows exactly how you'll react, what you'll say, and that there's no element of excitement left, he stops trying. And when he stops trying, he starts pulling away. It's not because he's lost interest. It's because the energy of pursuit has disappeared, and with it, his natural drive to keep earning your attention. A lot of women mistake this for him being uninterested or distant, but in reality, it's a response to how the relationship dynamic has changed. In the beginning, there was an element of uncertainty that kept his attention locked in. He had to work for your time, prove his value, and put in effort. But if, over time, you become too predictable, always available, and stop bringing new energy into the relationship, he starts to feel like he's already won the prize. And once the chase is over, so is the excitement. This doesn't mean you have to constantly make him jealous or create drama to keep him engaged. That's not the answer. The real secret is to keep evolving as a person. Keep growing, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself, not just for him, but for you. A woman who is always challenging herself to grow is naturally intriguing. She brings new energy into the relationship because she's not stagnant. She has new things to talk about, new perspectives to share, and a sense of purpose beyond just being in a relationship. That energy keeps a man engaged because he sees that you are a person who continues to bring value and excitement to his life. It's also about maintaining a level of independence. Being in a relationship doesn't mean losing yourself in it. Keep your hobbies, your friendships, and the things that make you feel fulfilled outside of him. When a man sees that you are still living your life fully, it reminds him why he was drawn to you in the first place. He sees that you are someone worth pursuing because you don't need him to complete you. You choose to be with him because he adds to your already amazing life. That's powerful. Women often think that once a man commits, the work is done. But commitment isn't the finish line. It's just the beginning. Attraction isn't something that happens once and stays forever. It has to be maintained. The women who understand this never worry about a man pulling away because they naturally create an environment where he always wants to show up, invest, and pursue. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Communication is everything in a relationship, but most people get it wrong because they focus only on what they want to say, not when or how they say it. Women, in particular, are naturally wired to talk through emotions. When something feels off, the immediate instinct is to address it, get clarity, and reconnect. But men don't always operate that way. A conversation that feels productive and healing to a woman can feel overwhelming and exhausting to a man if it happens at the wrong time. That's why timing matters just as much as communication itself. A big mistake women make is trying to talk about emotions when he's already pulling away. It feels logical to check in, ask what's wrong, and try to fix the disconnect through conversation. But if a man is already in a withdrawn state, forcing a deep talk only makes him shut down more. He's not in the right headspace to process what you're saying, and instead of hearing your words, he feels pressure. And when a man feels pressured, his instinct is to escape, not engage. This doesn't mean you should ignore problems or avoid important conversations. It means you have to be strategic about when you bring them up. A man is most receptive when he's emotionally open, not when he's already retreating. If he's had a stressful day or is mentally checked out, pushing for a discussion in that moment will backfire. He's not avoiding the conversation because he doesn't care. He's avoiding it because he doesn't have the mental space for it. A much better approach is to wait until he's in a good mood, engage with you, and naturally connected. That's when he'll be more likely to listen, understand, and respond in a way that moves the relationship forward instead of creating more distance. The key is reading his energy instead of just reacting to your own emotions. If you feel anxious or upset, it's natural to want to talk about it right away, but that doesn't mean it's the best time. Learning to pause, assess his mood, and choose the right moment makes a massive difference in how he responds. When you bring up important topics when he's mentally present and open, he's far more likely to listen without feeling defensive or overwhelmed. Another mistake women make is overloading a conversation with emotions instead of clarity. Saying things like, "You never pay attention to me anymore," or "I feel like you don't care," might be honest feelings, but they put him on the defensive. He hears criticism instead of connection. A better approach is focusing on what you need instead of what he's doing wrong. Instead of "you never make time for me," try, "I love when we spend time together and I miss that. Let's plan something soon." It shifts the energy from blame to invitation, making him more likely to engage instead of shut down. A relationship thrives when both people feel safe to communicate. And that safety comes from knowing that discussions won't turn into pressure or criticism. When a man knows he can talk to you without feeling trapped or attacked, he opens up more. But if every conversation feels like a test, an interrogation, or a demand for him to change, he'll avoid them altogether. The women who understand this don't struggle with men pulling away because they create a space where communication feels natural, not forced. They know that timing matters, tone matters, and making a man feel understood is just as important as making sure he understands them. Men are naturally drawn to a sense of mystery and unpredictability, not because they enjoy playing games, but because excitement and anticipation keep attraction alive. One of the biggest mistakes women make in relationships is becoming too predictable. Always available, always responding the same way, always reacting the same way. In the beginning, there's an element of surprise, a feeling that anything could happen. But as time goes on, routines form, and the relationship starts to feel more like an obligation than an exciting experience. That's when men start to pull away, not because they've lost interest, but because the energy that once made them chase has disappeared. The key to keeping a man engaged isn't about being difficult or manipulative. It's about maintaining an element of surprise and unpredictability. This means continuing to grow, evolve, and do things that keep the relationship from falling into a routine. Many women, once they feel secure in a relationship, stop putting in the same effort they did at the beginning. They get comfortable. They assume that once he's committed, the work is done. But relationships aren't static. If you stop bringing new energy into them, they become stale. And when something becomes stale, it loses excitement. A woman who keeps a man hooked is someone who remains interesting. She's unpredictable in the best way, not in a way that causes drama, but in a way that keeps him guessing. She switches things up, surprises him, and does things he doesn't expect. Maybe she randomly plans a date instead of always waiting for him to do it. Maybe she starts a new hobby or project that he never saw coming. Maybe she changes up the way she interacts with him instead of falling into the same pattern. The idea is to avoid becoming someone he thinks he has completely figured out. When a man feels like he knows exactly how you'll react, what you'll say, and how every interaction will go, he stops putting in effort. Not because he doesn't care, but because the sense of adventure is gone. He no longer has to work to earn your attention, keep the connection alive, or show up as his best self because he knows you'll always be there. No matter what, this isn't about making him feel insecure. It's about keeping things fresh, alive, and dynamic. The best way to do this is by continuing to grow as an individual. A woman who is always working on herself, learning new things, and expanding her world naturally brings that energy into the relationship. She doesn't rely on him to provide excitement. She creates her own, and that's what makes her irresistible. When a man sees that you are constantly evolving, he feels inspired to keep up. He stays intrigued because there's always something new to discover about you. This also means not making him the center of your world. The more a man feels like he is your sole source of happiness, the more pressure he feels and the less he values your presence. But when he sees that you have your own life, passions, and interests, he feels the need to continually invest in you. He knows that your attention isn't something to take for granted. It's something he has to keep earning, and that makes him stay engaged. The women who keep a man's attention for the long haul are the ones who never stop bringing something new to the table. They aren't afraid to surprise, switch things up, and keep him on his toes. They understand that attraction isn't just about love. It's about energy, excitement, and the feeling that there's always something new to discover. That's what makes a man stay, not out of obligation, but out of pure desire. Men are drawn to women who bring positive energy into their lives. It's not just about looks, intelligence, or shared interests. It's about how a man feels when he's around you. The biggest mistake many women make is unknowingly becoming a source of stress instead of a source of joy. In the beginning, everything feels light, fun, and exciting. But over time, some women shift into a mode of constant worry, overanalyzing, or even pressuring the relationship to move in a certain direction. That shift changes the way a man experiences the relationship. And when a relationship starts to feel like a weight instead of something uplifting, he naturally starts pulling away. A man wants to feel good when he's with you. He wants to laugh, feel appreciated, and experience a sense of peace in your presence. When he knows that spending time with you means stepping into a space of warmth and encouragement, he craves that connection. But when a relationship becomes filled with negativity, whether that's constant complaining, criticism, or emotional heaviness, it starts to feel like something he has to manage instead of something he enjoys. The truth is, men don't want to escape from the right woman. They want to escape from emotional pressure, tension, and environments that don't feel good. A lot of women believe that if they express their frustrations enough, a man will change. But men don't respond well to emotional intensity in the way women think they do. When a woman is always pointing out what's wrong, even if her concerns are valid, it makes the relationship feel like work. And the moment a man feels like he can never get it right, he starts detaching. Not because he doesn't care, but because he feels like no matter what he does, it's not enough. Over time, this makes him associate the relationship with frustration rather than joy. The most attractive women are the ones who make life feel lighter, not heavier. They know how to bring fun, laughter, and playfulness into the relationship. They handle challenges with a level head, communicate with confidence rather than desperation, and focus on what's working instead of constantly dwelling on what's not. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means knowing how to approach things in a way that keeps the connection strong rather than weakening it. Men stay engaged when they feel appreciated. A woman who constantly acknowledges his efforts, expresses gratitude, and highlights what she loves about him naturally draws him closer. When a man feels like he's winning in the relationship, he wants to keep showing up. But if he feels like he's always under scrutiny, he withdraws. Women often think they need to do more to keep a man interested, but the real secret is making him feel like his presence, efforts, and love are valued. That feeling keeps him coming back because men crave admiration just as much as women crave love. The best relationships are built on lightness, not pressure. A woman who knows how to keep things fun, who doesn't let small frustrations take over, and who brings a sense of ease into a man's life is a woman he never wants to leave. When he thinks of you as his safe space, someone who brings calmness instead of chaos, he will keep choosing you over and over again. The women who understand this Don't chase men or worry about them pulling away because they naturally create an environment where a man wants to stay. Not out of obligation, but because he feels his happiest, most confident, and most alive when he's with her. At the end of the day, keeping a man's attention isn't about chasing him, changing yourself, or constantly trying to prove your worth. It's about understanding the deeper dynamics of attraction and connection. Men are drawn to energy, mystery, confidence, and a sense of excitement. They crave a relationship that feels like a choice, not a duty. When you stay true to yourself, keep growing, and bring a sense of joy and lightness into his life, he won't feel the need to pull away. He'll feel the desire to stay. The key is maintaining your individuality, knowing when and how to communicate, keeping an element of unpredictability, and creating an environment where he feels valued and appreciated. A man doesn't stay because he has to. He stays because he wants to. And the women who understand this never worry about whether a man will lose interest because they naturally create a relationship that keeps him engaged, inspired, and always wanting more.